Nobody expected one moment in the stands to overshadow a historic NFL debut, but that's exactly what happened the night Shedeur Sanders took the field for Cleveland. His first start wasn't just record-breaking, it snapped a nearly 30-year drought for the Browns. Yet the entire football world stopped looking at the field and started looking at the sidelines when someone noticed where his father, Deion Sanders, was sitting. He didn't choose a typical seat, a family suite, or even a neutral viewing section. Instead, he watched the entire game from the private luxury box of Las Vegas Raiders owner Mark Davis, while Shedeur was playing against the Raiders. One simple seating arrangement turned into the most talked about moment of the night, and instantly the speculation started. Why was the opposing team's owner hosting Shedeur's father? And was it just hospitality? Or the beginning of something much bigger? Shedeur's debut should have been the headline all by itself. The Browns hadn't seen a rookie quarterback win his first start since 1995, a streak long enough that most fans didn't even remember the last time it happened. But on that night, Shedeur stepped onto the field and looked like he'd been there for years. He completed key throws, stayed composed under pressure, and finished with a stat line that instantly put the league on notice. It wasn't just a win, it was the kind of performance that forces a franchise to look at him differently, not as a temporary solution, but as someone who could actually change the future of the team. The Browns didn't hesitate either. After the game, the coaching staff confirmed he'd be starting again the following week, signaling confidence in him and turning this debut from a lucky moment into something much more serious. What should have been a moment of celebration became the setup for everything that happened next. Because the attention didn't stay on the field for long. There was something happening behind the scenes that no one saw coming. Normally, when a rookie quarterback makes history, his family sits with fans, relatives, or team personnel and enjoys the moment like everyone else. But Deion Sanders didn't take the traditional route. He wasn't in a family suite or a VIP section arranged by the Browns. He watched the game from the private box of Las Vegas Raiders owner Mark Davis, the owner of the very team Shedeur was playing against. That alone was enough to get people talking. It's not standard NFL behavior, and even Deion acknowledged how unusual it was when he publicly thanked Davis afterward. Luxury boxes aren't just seats, they're controlled environments, typically reserved for ownership, business discussions, and high-level guests. In a league where optics matter almost as much as results, seeing the father of the opposing rookie quarterback sitting shoulder to shoulder with the rival team's owner was the kind of moment that makes fans stop and ask why this happened in the first place. Because nothing about that arrangement looked casual or random. It looked intentional, and it raised the question everyone is still trying to answer. What was really going on in that suite? For the players on the Raiders sideline, that luxury box wasn't just a private viewing area. It was a signal that was impossible to ignore. Imagine preparing for a game, getting ready to defend your home field, and finding out that the father of the opposing rookie quarterback is sitting next to your own owner. Even if nothing inappropriate happened, it sends a message that feels strange. In professional sports, organizations go out of their way to avoid the appearance of mixed loyalties or divided interests. Coaches, executives, and owners are usually careful not to blur lines with rival teams during competition, because one wrong image can create the wrong narrative. That's why this moment hit so differently. The visual alone invites questions. Was this just hospitality between two well-connected football figures? Was it a mutual show of respect? Or did it hint at conversations the public wasn't supposed to see? Players are trained to focus on the field, but situations like this make people wonder about things that happen outside the locker room. Even if it was completely harmless, the optics created the kind of buzz the NFL usually tries to avoid. And once something like this is out in the open, the story doesn't stay simple for long, because that's when the speculation really starts. The moment the game ended, the theories began circulating online. Fans weren't just reacting to the win anymore, they were analyzing that luxury box like it was a hidden message. And one idea kept popping up over and over again. What if that meeting wasn't just about watching a football game? What if it was setting the stage for a future move? Rumors suggest that the setup was almost too perfect for a private conversation. No reporters, no agents, no leaks, just Deion and Mark Davis in a space where nobody else could hear a word they said.
The situation naturally led people to wonder whether they were talking about something bigger than hospitality, maybe even the possibility of bringing Shedeur to Las Vegas. Of course, none of this is confirmed. There's no official statement, no leaked document, no insider claiming the deal is already done. But when you put the pieces together, it starts to make sense why the theory gained traction. The Raiders have spent years searching for stability at the most important position in football, and fans know it better than anyone. The team has cycled through starters, backups, and short-term solutions without finding a long-term answer. Every offseason brings new experiments, new promises, and new disappointment. That's why the idea of Shedeur in Las Vegas took off so quickly. He isn't just another young quarterback. He represents something the franchise hasn't had in a long time: a clear future. From a football standpoint alone, it's easy to see why people think the Raiders might be interested. Shedeur comes with undeniable talent, confidence, and a recognizable last name that carries weight in the sports world. And in a city like Las Vegas, star power matters just as much off the field as it does on it. A quarterback who draws attention, moves merchandise, and gets national coverage fits perfectly into the Raiders' identity and the city they play in. That's why even before anyone talks contracts or draft picks, the idea already makes business sense. But the appeal goes deeper than marketability. The Raiders are in a division stacked with elite quarterbacks. The path to winning runs through facing some of the toughest competition in the league. Fans have been waiting for a true face of the franchise, someone who can compete with those names and bring excitement back to the position. Whether or not the organization is actually considering Shedeur, the rumors tapped into a real need. Las Vegas is ready for a quarterback who can change the direction of the team, and a thought of Deion Sanders' son filling that role is exactly the kind of storyline that gets the entire league talking. The situation in Cleveland adds another layer that's hard to ignore. Even after Shedeur delivered a debut that broke a nearly 3-decade streak, speculation began circulating that the Browns might still look for another quarterback in the 2026 draft. Reports claim the front office is at least exploring the idea, and whether those conversations are just preliminary or something more serious, it creates
An uncomfortable reality. If a team is already thinking about drafting someone else, it signals they haven't fully committed to the quarterback they already have. That kind of uncertainty has destroyed confidence in Cleveland before. Fans have watched promising players come and go because the organization couldn't figure out what direction it wanted to take. So when these rumors surfaced, people immediately connected the dots. If Shedeur delivers on the field, but the Browns are still considering other options, what does that say about their long-term plans? And why would any young quarterback want to stay in a situation where the front office is already thinking about replacements? It doesn't mean a trade is happening. It doesn't mean the Browns have given up on Shedeur, but it does mean the environment isn't as stable as it should be for a rookie who just made history. The front office's uncertainty feeds the speculation, and fans are already asking the question Cleveland probably wanted to avoid. If the Browns won't fully believe in him, could another franchise step in and do it instead? Deion Sanders isn't just a proud parent watching his son chase a dream. He's a central figure in every step of Shedeur's football journey. His reputation and influence are impossible to separate from this situation. Throughout his coaching career and media presence, he has made one thing clear: he doesn't leave his son's futures to chance. He chooses environments where they're valued, protected, and surrounded by people who believe in their potential. That's why his presence in Mark Davis's box carried more weight than a normal celebrity appearance. When Deion shows up somewhere, it usually has a purpose. He's vocal, strategic, and deeply involved in making sure his sons aren't placed in situations that could jeopardize their careers. Fans haven't forgotten how often he spoke about building the right culture, the right team, the right support system in college. So when he publicly praised Mark Davis and highlighted how unusual the invitation was, many viewed it as more than just good manners. Some believe it was a subtle signal, a reminder that powerful people in the league respect the Sanders family and might be willing to invest in Shedeur in ways Cleveland hasn't fully shown yet. Again, None of this proves a trade is happening, but it does show why people read into the moment so closely. Deion's voice carries weight, and his relationships in the football world open doors most families could never access. When someone with his influence shares a private box with a team owner, fans naturally wonder if it's the start of a bigger conversation. And even if it was just hospitality, the presence of Deion in that room changes the entire dynamic because everyone knows he plays the long game. If there's one thing Cleveland fans don't handle well, it's uncertainty at quarterback, and the luxury box moment ignited a wildfire. The responses online weren't casual reactions, they were emotional. This is a fan base that has lived through decades of instability, draft misses, and quarterback rotations that felt endless. So when the possibility surfaced that the Browns might not be fully committed to Shedeur, even after he delivered a historic win, it hit a nerve. Some fans immediately defended him and demanded the front office stick with the rookie who just gave them hope. Others began questioning whether Cleveland is repeating the same patterns that held the franchise back for years. And the speculation didn't stop at Browns fans. Raiders supporters jumped into the conversation just as fast. Many of them have been asking for a bold move at quarterback for a long time, and suddenly the idea of Shedeur and silver and black didn't seem impossible. Discussions spread across social media, sports talk shows, and forums. People weren't just debating whether a trade could happen, they were arguing about whether it should happen. Even without confirmation, the situation tapped into the emotions of both fan bases. Cleveland fans see a storyline they've experienced before and fear losing the very thing they've been waiting for. Raiders fans see a potential franchise-changing opportunity. And that split reaction is what makes moments like this so powerful. The drama stops being about two teams or a rookie quarterback. It becomes about identity, loyalty, and what each franchise believes is its future. The moment rumors start involving an owner and the family of a rising quarterback, the conversation grows beyond one game or one franchise. This situation touches on something much bigger, the shifting power dynamics in modern football. Quarterbacks, especially those who show early potential, aren't just players anymore. They're investments, brands, and long-term assets. And the people around them, agents, coaches, and in Shedeur's case, a father with massive influence, play a major role in shaping their careers. The NFL has already seen how quickly a young quarterback's future can change when circumstances shift. Teams don't always wait years to make decisions anymore, and players aren't afraid to speak up when they feel their careers are at stake. So when fans start suggesting that Deion and Mark Davis might have used that luxury box to talk about Shedeur's future, it sparks a bigger question. How much influence should families and personal relationships have on where a player ends up? If moves like this ever became common, owners having early conversations, families guiding the direction of careers, and fan bases reacting in real time, it could reshape how teams handle their young quarterbacks altogether. Even if nothing comes from this situation, it highlights how one unexpected moment can change a narrative, fuel speculation, and show just how quickly the landscape of the league can shift. In today's NFL, power isn't just on the field. It's in relationships, timing, and the people who know how to leverage both. There's still one major piece of this story that nobody can explain with certainty. Was that luxury box meeting just a thoughtful gesture between two well-known figures in football, or was it the start of a long-term plan happening quietly behind the scenes? The NFL trade deadline is already gone, which means nothing can happen until the offseason at the earliest. That alone creates a window of mystery. There's time to evaluate, time to strategize, and time for more conversations, public or private, to take place. That's why the moment didn't fade away after the final whistle. It left the football world with a question that keeps lingering. Was this pure coincidence or the first chess move in a bigger strategy? Every gesture, every public compliment, every rumor now gets dissected by people trying to figure out what's real and what's just speculation. Maybe it was simply hospitality from Mark Davis.
Maybe it was Deion showing respect. Or maybe it was two influential people positioning themselves for what comes next. And until something concrete happens, whether it confirms the theories or shuts them down completely, we're left with the story that refuses to settle down. A historic debut, a mysterious seeding decision, and a conversation that everyone wants to hear but no one actually saw. It's the kind of situation that keeps fans guessing, keeps media talking, and keeps the league on edge. Because in the NFL, the biggest moves rarely happen in public. They start with moments exactly like this. The more you look at this moment, the harder it becomes to see it as just another game on the schedule. Shedeur delivered a debut that should have been simple to celebrate. Yet all it took was one unexpected seeding decision to flip the story upside down. Instead of a clean headline about a rookie quarterback making history, we were left with questions about relationships, influence, and the quiet power plays that shape careers in the NFL. Deion's appearance in Mark Davis's private suite forced
Everyone to consider possibilities that normally stay hidden from public view. And the reaction showed how quickly the league can shift from football to business. Whether this turns into trade talks, a new chapter for Shedeur, or nothing more than a generous gesture, the situation revealed something bigger. One moment can change the entire narrative. And the truth is, nobody knows yet how this ends. Cleveland still has decisions to make. Las Vegas still needs answers at quarterback. And the conversation surrounding Deion and his son isn't going away anytime soon. This story has all the ingredients of something that could grow into a major move or fade into a what-if that fans never stop debating. But for now, the mystery is still alive, the speculation is still spreading, and the future is still wide open.